Hi, friends. I have to start today. Because if I don't do this now, I will forget. Reminding you that December is going by quickly, like you needed that reminder. But anyway, it means if you have not signed up for the Neuro-Vocal certification class, you are quickly losing out on the opportunity to save $300. So the next class begins on March 3 of next year. And for the month of December, and December only, you can save $300 off of the normal price. So that's $300, my friends. If you are on my mailing list, you will find a link to the information page for that class. If you're not on my mailing list, you should be. But you can also just go to my website and get the skinny there. So today we are talking about brains. Brains are one of my favorite topics. Hi, Russ.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm just broadcasting live. No problem.
Sorry.
I'll tell you about that later. Anyway, today we are talking about brains. Brains are one of my very favorite subjects, as you probably know. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of new stuff to learn every day. Now, I need to make clear, right out of the gate, that I am not a scientist. And I know you know that, but I'm just going to say it anyway, just to say it. I am not a scientist. I'm just science-y. I am a science fangirl. I am also not a proper researcher. If you want an actual science, if you want to read the work or listen to, engage in the work, there we go, there's the word, engage in the work of a proper scientist and or researcher, you could go to Heidi Moss's website. She's the real deal. Or you could check out Daniel Levitin or Lynn Helding or Charles Lim. There are really interesting people doing a lot of research in music and singing and neurology and all that fun stuff. So if you can just fangirl out with me, we can fangirl together. Even if you're not a girl, we can fangirl together if you want. So I'm not that, but what I am is somebody who loves to learn about neuroscience and anatomy. I also love anatomy. And I'm someone who is interested in turning that information into applications that voice teachers and vocal coaches can use every day in their studios to be effective, more effective, hopefully. So all that being said, let's talk brains. The first thing I want you to be aware of is, if you're not already, is that humans have learned more about neuroscience in the last 30 years than we have in the cumulative 3,000 before that. So, but despite that, there's much more that we do not know about neuroscience than what we do know. And of course, every time somebody makes a new discovery, it's very exciting because it opens up all these new questions, which is one of the things I love most about science. So I say that as both a promise and as a caveat. The other thing you need to know is that singing is a remarkably complex activity neurologically, right? It recruits areas of the brain for language, speech, for listening, for measuring, for judging, for hearing, for feeling, for emotions, memory, and more. It's very complex. And then just FYI, your brain does all that while it's running everything else. It's keeping you standing and balancing, and it's making you breathe and making your heart beat and all that good stuff. So just file that, because we're going to come back to it. It's a big deal, kind of a big deal. Now, if there's one thing that a voice teacher or a vocal coach should know about brain science, in my personal, humble opinion, it is this one thing. That is that singing is a neurologically complex activity. So I just said all those things about it, but this is the punchline, right? When you're doing the thing that seems like just one thing, right? You're singing. It's one thing. You are actually doing many, many things all at once. And not only are you doing those things all at once, but you are doing them with precision. You are doing them with intention. You are controlling and balancing all these disparate skills that are needed and the attention required to create singing. Now, this is no small neurological feat, my friends. It is not a small feat for you or for your students. So just hold on to that. Hold on to that for a minute, because in a minute we are going to unpack that, and I'm going to show you how you can use that knowledge to help your students, that one little bit of knowledge. In a minute, I'm going to give you a tool that will make even your most difficult students improve in a very short time. I'm also going to offer you a link to a very cool freebie, so stay tuned for that. I'm Meredith Colby, and there's my I'm Meredith slide. I'm Meredith Colby, and I support voice teachers to create healthy and confident teaching and singing of microphone-based styles. I bring information to teachers through media platforms like this one and classes, media platforms and classes, to help them fill in the gaps in their learning so that they can effectively and lovingly help their students find their true voices, and by doing that, create a prosperous voice business. I am also the author of Money Notes, How to Sing. You'd think I'd have that figured out by now. I am the author of Money Notes, How to Sing High, Loud, Healthy, and Forever, which introduces Neuro-Vocal Method, a way to understand singing through the lens of brain science. So I would like you to feel free to contribute to the conversation. If anything that I say makes you think of something, or you want to contribute in any way, I love to hear your comments now or on the replay. I check the comments on the replay as well. Hearts and thumbs are always appreciated because it makes Facebook like me more, and I want Facebook to like me more. I don't know about you guys. If you are watching on YouTube, please give me a hearts, give me a thumbs up, follow me. Well, you can't give me a heart on YouTube, can you? Give me a thumbs up and follow me. There we go. You have to have the right language for the platform. Okay, so my freebie today is a link to an article about my subject today. It's a section from my book, from Money Notes, a little section, which is called This Is Your Body Singing. And if you put my brain in the chat, in the Neuro-Vocal bot will send you that link. No strings attached, just right to where you can read that little section of my book. It's just a one-click way to get the article. If you are watching on YouTube, you will find that link in the comments below. And oh, by the way, if you're on my mailing list, oh, that's right. Oh, if you're on my mailing list, I got a promo code. So one of the people that distributes my book gave me a promo code for 75% off my book. So they're like, get it out of here. Anyway, 75% off of the paperback version of my book. So if you have been waiting to buy it, wait no longer. If you will get that. Wait, you got that if you were on my mailing list. You got that. Okay. The bot will give you an opportunity to be reminded of the next broadcast if you get this thing today, that thing. So please opt in for that, because if you don't, then Facebook thinks I'm spamming you when I remind you about my broadcast, which I like to do. Here we go. So now we're off. We're off and running. I am going to start today with a story, because analogies are great learning tools. So note to self, y'all, analogies are great learning tools. Here's the story. When my daughter was really little, she was like 4. I think she was 4, maybe 5, probably 4. My husband took her to the park with their brand new big, hi, Alexandra. Put in, this is your body singing. Okay, wait, hold on. I was not clear. Hold on, Alexandra. Put my brain in the chat, in the comments. If you put my brain in the comments, you will get the thing. I probably should not. I'll just put that really far away. Put my brain in the comments. Okay, back we go. Okay, back to the story. Okay, so here's my husband at the park with little tiny daughter, and she has this big plastic bat and wiffle ball. And the bat was, it weighed almost nothing. Great big fat bat weighed nothing. The ball actually weighed nothing. So here's my husband with his little bitty daughter tossing the ball and encouraging her to hit it, which she did not. She could not hit the ball. Now, even though the equipment that she was using was made for somebody her age, she just couldn't make it work. So they were at this for a really long time, like probably 4 or 5 minutes, which is forever when you're 5 years old. When this nice guy comes over and says to my husband, can I give you a little advice about what you're doing? And so it turns out that the guy was a softball coach. And my husband was like, have at it. Whatever you got, man. So the guy asked my daughter to hold the bat very still. He set her up. She's holding the bat. And then he got on his knees about 3 feet in front of her. And he lofted the ball underhand so that the ball hit the bat. He made the ball hit the bat. Are you with me here? Then he advised my husband to just do that. He goes, just for today, just have her hold the bat and just throw the ball at the bat. He said, swinging the bat will come later. Now, when I heard that story, I knew that man was a genius. When he threw the ball at the bat, he was laying a foundation for the skill of hitting a small moving ball with what is essentially a stick. So first, right, it's not an easy thing to do. First, he made it emotionally safe for my daughter, right? There wasn't this, she knew it would happen. It was okay. It was emotionally safe. And he was making sure that she had the experience of confidence before anything else, because that's a foundation for taking risks, right? Is a certain amount of confidence. So throwing the ball at the bat let her brain do some work. Her eyes took in the ball's trajectory. She got the feel for the physical sensation of the bat hitting the ball. Like, her little brain was doing enormous amounts of learning with just those things. And this coach made the environment, in other words, like how she was standing and how she was holding the bat and how far away he was from her. He made the environment only as structured as it needed to be in order for success to occur, right? Isn't this, you're with me on this, right? Give me a heart if you are, because I think this is so cool. As many times as I think of this story or tell it, I just think it's so cool. He stripped away all the things that did not need to be there so that the basic thing that needed to be learned on that day could be learned successfully and confidently. So I just think this is a great example of brain science learning, brain science-based learning, my friends. I'm going to paint you a picture of what that might look like in your studio in a few seconds. But first, I need to remind anyone who is just joining me, if you just signed in, I want to remind you that today's freebie is a short section from my book, which is about singing and brain science stuff. It's, if you put my brain in the chat, is it there? Yeah, my brain in the chat. And I also want to say to anyone that is just joining me that you can save $300 by joining the Neuro-Vocal certification course this month, and this month only during the month of September. So register this month to take advantage of that awesome discount, if I do say so myself. So I told you about how complex an activity singing is. And I've told you the story of the coach inspiring a beginner by stripping the skill down to its most basic elements and creating a safe environment where confidence could occur. So you see where I'm going with this, right? The brain science approach I want you to grab hold of today is what that coach did. Simplify, simplify, simplify. When a student, because remember I said, singing is such a complex activity. So I'm talking to you about simplifying today. When a student is having trouble with something, I want you to try to identify within the thing that you are asking them to do as many of the disparate elements as you can. So whatever overarching thing you're asking them to do, see if you can break it down into some component parts and then identify what is the main thing you're trying to get them to learn. Once you've identified the main thing you're trying to get them to learn, try to remove as many other elements as possible. Anything that is not that, right? You've identified, here's what we're doing. Here's the thing that's the most important part of what we're doing. How can I remove everything that is not that thing, right? You're following me? So everything, as much as possible, that the student is doing that is not that objective, that is not the objective that you would like them to focus on. Because remember, attention is really important. Now, this thing that I just now asked you to do, it might make you work a little harder, especially if you're not used to doing things this or looking at things this way, which very few of us are. So you will have to be able to look at a struggling student and say, what is the crux of the biscuit here, as they say down south? What is the basic skill within this skill? What is that will make this easier for them as we move forward? Now, it will take a little getting used to if you've never done that before, but I promise you, it is a very powerful skill to have from a learning perspective, from a brain science perspective. Simplify the task and lighten the cognitive load. Lighten the cognitive load makes me want to sing a reggae song, but I don't know a lighten the cognitive load reggae song. So for instance, let's say you have a student. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you have a student who has a hard time matching pitch, and we've all had that student, and we will have them again. Your inclination is probably to bang on the piano key and hope that they will sing the right pitch. So in this example, I'm going to make our pitch challenged student a him. But if you want to use a little bit of neuroscience savvy, instead of just banging on the pitch, you can try throwing the ball at the bat, so to speak. So instead of having him match your pitch, you match his pitch. He makes the pitch, and then you match it, either with the piano or with your voice. So this is, wait, what did I do? Hold on, I have to find where I am in my notes, because as you can probably tell, I kind of veer off a little bit. All right, so you can modify these same kind of ideas that I'm about to throw out there for someone who is farther along with their singing skills. It doesn't have to be somebody who's really pitch challenged, but I'm sort of starting at a basic, because there's so many things to learn with singing, and we all have the person who can't match pitch. So if they can't do that, they really can't move forward. So we want to help them to do that. So first of all, we want to acknowledge, we're going to assume that they can sing. Because if they couldn't sing, they wouldn't be there. You do not have to share this belief with me, but this is my belief that people who want to sing can sing. It's in there. If you can't sing, you probably don't want to. So he wouldn't be there if he couldn't sing. So first, you experience some admiration and respect for the fact that he sought you out, and that he has the courage to want to solve his problem. And you don't have to say any of this, but just hold it in your heart. Just know that, okay? Again, that's very subjective and very much me, but it's a me thing. Next, ask him, this is an awareness thing. Ask him if he's aware that he is not matching pitch, and then note his answer. He probably will say that he is aware. Then you give him the most basic version of how we make sound with our voices. Don't start with the picture, big gross picture on your wall. Start with the most basic version of how we make sound with our voices. Well, you know what? I'll walk you through that another time. But anyway, show him that. Show him where his larynx is in his own body. And then show him the gross picture on your wall. Because it's interesting, right? Tell him only what he needs to know right now. Do not overwhelm him with too many facts, okay? And then you can tell him more later. So now you've set the stage for him to begin to increase the coordination between the pitch he's hearing and the pitch on which he is phonating. He's not singing. He is matching pitch. There is a difference. His intention matters a lot. So if you can guide him to just phonate on the pitch, help move him away from the notion that he is singing, that he is creating something with a pleasing aesthetic outcome, that all he's doing is matching pitch, right? That will help him achieve the objective. It lightens his cognitive load if he can buy in. Now, helping him buy in is huge. That's your job. That's why you're a professional. So then, throw the ball at the bat. And by that I mean, ask him to phonate on different pitches and then play them on the piano. Sing them back to him. Ask him what his perceptions of the differences are between the pitches that he is hearing. He might give you clues as to how he's perceiving higher or lower pitches, faster or slower oscillations, right? You might include words like higher, lower, or the same. You might, to reflect the pitch that he's making, he might just be like, may look like, hi, Grace. He might look like he's barking out pitches, but please know that his brain is working to make sense of that experience. So he might not use words like higher or lower. You might talk about more or less energy. He might be perceiving higher pitches as louder and lower pitches as quieter. Throw the ball at the bat is what I'm saying. Okay. Then once we're there, and this isn't on the same day, by the way. It can be, depends on how things are going, but it doesn't have to be on the same day. Then you're going to make him move his bat to meet the ball. Since the previous exercise showed you what his comfortable pitch range is, right? Because he's not going to phonate on pitches that he's not comfortable with. Now you can move that around a little bit. Your objective here would be for him to experience success every time so that his confidence is boosted every time. Because if he's confident, he'll be willing to take risks and get better, right? We know that's how it works. So you may want to talk to him in terms of more or less energy for higher pitches, help him experience that he is hearing a pitch and intending for that pitch, right? So you can say these things out loud. I want you to experience this pitch. Now we're going to do it again. I want you to intend for that same pitch that you just experienced. That intention piece is sometimes the one that gets a little short-circuited. I don't know a better way to say that right now because I'm kind of winging it. But so now he's experiencing himself matching the pitch. He probably won't experience himself matching the pitch every single time he does it. And that doesn't matter. You just say, okay, and move on. Or you can make a game of it. Show me a finger or hold up this plastic dinosaur when you experience yourself matching the pitch. So, and of course, when he does, lots of kudos because we want to build up his confidence so that he will take risks moving forward. You can also move the bat to meet the ball by creating something visual. And this is something that Heidi Moss Erickson talks about a lot, is incorporating visual elements to non-singing physical movements to the act of phonating and singing. So something like that might help and might make things, and it might make things more confusing. So again, that's why you get paid the big bucks, you guys. You got to figure that out. But it's worth a try. And you can always just say, we're going to give this a try, see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes today. And if it goes well, we're going to keep doing it. If not, we're just going to move on to the next thing. No big deal, right? So when you do this, hold on, you are making the student's brain work in a way that is not familiar. So I hope that made sense, what I just said, what I just walked you through as an example. It's a really good example, and I know that it's I mean, the reason I picked that example, the reason I say it's a good example is because we've all had that person in our studio. We've all had the person who says, I really just want to be able to sing in church and not have people look at me. I really want to be able to sing along with Happy Birthday. I really want to join a choir, something like that. So just really basic people. So, I mean, basic skills. The people aren't basic, but the skill set is basic. So that's why I wanted to start there. So when you do this exercise, or when you are introducing something like this, when you are narrowing something down and making them focus on an objective that is very specific, then you are making the student's brain work in a way that it has not worked before. It is not familiar, this way that you're asking them to think. It's a real thing, and it is tiring. I mean, literally physically tiring to do this. So be aware that the skills are unfamiliar and they are harder and they require more attention and more energy. Take frequent breaks in the lesson, and if the student, hey Mitch, and if the student practices for just a few minutes a day, over time, he will begin to experience his pitch matching with intention, which is very empowering and exciting, right? He'll start being able to swing at the ball. Swing at the ball. In the case of students who are working through specific tricky bits of an exercise or a song, I'm pretty positive you are already applying this brain science. You have done this before because you've done stuff like changing the key, removing the lyrics, breaking up the phrase. You've had them imagine singing the section of a song maybe while they clap or while they march so that they can feel the rhythms of it. So whatever their challenge is, you've already practiced stripping this down. I just want you to do it a little more intentionally than maybe you have been. So take away the bits that they don't need for now and free up some mental real estate. That's what I call it, mental real estate, so that they can focus on the bits that are challenging to them. So in other words, don't pitch from the pitcher's mound, right? Walk halfway to the batter before you lob the ball and make it underhand, or throw the bat at the ball. It depends on, throw the ball at the bat. That other one would be dangerous. Depends on where they are. But know that changes in the brain, wherever you are with whatever student it is, changes in the brain take time and attention. The thing you work on today will bear fruit in a month or a week or a month or 2 months. And you just have to trust that that's happening and trust it for that student. So I am Meredith Colby. Thank you so much for being here with me today or on the replay. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as at meredithcolby.com anytime. So stay well, stay safe, stay happy, and have a great week. Bye.